Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. So, Lakers stuff. Woke up this morning listening to folks talk about the Lakers, various platforms as I always do. And, I guess the conversation right now is just, do the Lakers trade LeBron James at the end of the season? And you guys know my opinion on this. This isn't going to be me spewing that. I guess the angle I'm coming from is, do I think he could continue to lead a team as the A1 alpha going forward to a championship? And I just think that his skill set and his level of play tells us the answer is still yes. I think what we're seeing this year is just a whole lot of bad around him for whatever reasons, but it hasn't necessarily been bad from him until these last two games. And even those two games, those stats are still up there with the best, of good out there. That's not like you're weighing LeBron James against other players when he has a bad game. He's still better than everybody else when he has a bad game. But for his standards and for what it is that you need him to be in this role, that the way he played just wasn't up to par. But I think this is an anomaly. I think this is I tell you what I think this is. Besides all the smoke and mirrors and all the narratives, rather, that's not why I think he's playing poorly. I think he's playing poorly because that knee injury isn't healthy. I think that, and I said that before the All-Star break. I said that after the All-Star break in one of the videos that I made as well. His health isn't, he had his knee drained. It was full of fluid about a month ago. And he hasn't been out to handle that injury for longer than 2 weeks. He was out for a couple games, if that. He didn't handle that injury properly. And I think that's what it really comes down to. Can LeBron lead a championship team? Yes. But he's going to need a lot of reinforcements and people who can hold down the fort when he's not healthy, and that's the difference. See, that I guess is the answer to my question. Weighing him against the old LeBron and how the old LeBron did it, I don't think LeBron today can do it the way the old him did it. No. Because the old him you can pencil in for about 78 games. And you knew he was going to play 40 plus minutes in most of those games. Now, I can argue and did argue that Russell Westbrook was brought in for the sole purpose of giving people on this Laker team LeBron James insurance. It's why I believe Russell was acquired, so that he could do the triple-double thing and keep the team afloat while Bron was hurt, if Bron was to get hurt. I don't even think the Lakers go after Russell Westbrook if LeBron James hadn't had some of these injuries that he's had on this team. So, I think all in all, looking at how the Lakers are doing things, I think they believe that LeBron James needs more than just Anthony Davis to win going forward. I believe that. I think that they wanted to get another super duper star because they felt like with all the B plus players that they had last season, they just couldn't put it together. But I really do want to challenge all of them to just look at the fact that they kept one constant, and that was the coach. And so you never actually got to see the changes that you made be implemented in a way that reflects those changes. He was on his own game plan all 3 of these years. Even when the championship year, when he had his coaching assistants, Kidd and Lionel Hollins, he still did some things that were questionable. Sitting Dwight Howard in that Houston series, obviously for spacing, a lot of people agreed with that. But, those were the type of things that we saw early on that alluded to the Montrezl Harrell behavior. It energy towards Montrezl, rather. It alluded to how the energy is going towards Dwight this season. He just has always shown signs of wanting to do things that did not necessarily help his team. And maybe we won a championship in a year where a lot of his choices may have been talked down, or maybe some things that he wanted to do may have been worked around because of the fact that he had those extra assistants obviously players in that locker room that fit with one another. Things like that was going on in 2020 that just were not available to us this year. All we were left with were his decisions these last 2 seasons, and as a result, the value of the players that have been on this team have dropped down drastically. And I just feel like the Lakers are, you keep that one piece in your situation, you realize something is wrong, but you can't figure out what it is. You change everything but that one piece and things still stay wrong. I think that's what the Lakers are dealing with. I don't think they quite get it yet. But you see how Kuzma's playing elsewhere. You see how Rondo played immediately when he left. You see how just about every player leaves this system and plays. So I could argue that LeBron James, the way he looks on this system, and maybe even some of the injuries he picked up, were due to the fact that we were playing him big, that we didn't play other players in the right positions, thus making it so that he had to overcompensate for size at this age, which means he's using more energy than he probably should, which means the injuries probably come around more often. These are the type of things that trickle down to how LeBron looks and what your view of him is in this Laker tenure. He's had this one coach that whole time, and I know I'm a broken record, but I think it's a direct reflection of all of it. It's that one piece, that one cog that you haven't removed, but you keep switching everything else up. And then you judge everything based on what it is that you see, but you didn't remove that piece that makes everything lesser. And so that's the truth. I think a lot of people are saying you can't, judge this team. I know the big three have been on record saying that they've only played 15 games together, and that's why we've sucked, and you could judge this team because they've missing pieces, and that's what's really going on. But that ain't what's really going on. That ain't what's really going on, because we know the functionality of the big three that we have. LeBron James being the older guy who can do a combination of a lot of things offensively, sometimes help on the defensive end, particularly chasing down blocking shots. You got AD, who's a big man with a mentality of a small guy, whose stats are not going to be consistent. Injury issues are going to be as such. So you gotta make sure you have certain things around preparing for that. And then Russell Westbrook, who's on the decline, and whose all of his weaknesses in basketball IQ seem to be on display. So if you don't get those three players what they need in conjunction to work with one another, which we did not, then chances are it doesn't matter that you've put them three together and what they're worth in this league. You're not going to be able to win with them. And then you keep that ugly piece there that just never moves. And you just sit there and you say, oh, they look bad. The three triple, they couldn't get it done. The big three is not a big three at all. Westbrook's done. AD's not reliable. LeBron James is old. All of that may be what you see. But until you remove that piece, you don't really know what you have. And I'm telling you, that's what it really comes down to for us. This coach it's getting worse by the day. The team has told you in a million different ways that they want this guy gone. Fans have told you in a million different ways that they either want him gone or don't believe he should be blamed for anything. You know what I mean? As to which they don't really have reasons for why they don't want to blame the guy, other than the fact that they want to blame other people who also deserve blame in a lot of these cases. It's not like they're wrong. It's just that they don't realize who delegates what blame where, and where that blame should go, rather. So I'm here to help with that. And I'm here to tell you guys that it's a conjunction of everybody, but it's not about blame when you're talking about Frank Vogel. It's just about how much of what is wrong because of how he uses what he has. And I tell you the truth. This may sound like an exaggeration, but I do believe he's about 75% of the problem. 75% of the problem. Because I can argue this is a playoff roster, even as bad as it is. And a lot of the changes that need to be made would have been seamlessly made, if we had a better record. We would be very easily able to get some of these buyout guys that are going other teams right now to make them better. That's the reality of it. Our team is not improving because teams understand that we've given up. That's the truth. And players and all of that, they know the Lakers are done. And so for us to have 18 plus games left or what have you, and for the mentality for us is for us to be done, I think that right there tells us that it's not only that ugly, nasty cog that needs to change, but it's also some of the pieces that we have in place that we're relying upon that can't seem to do anything with a coach that does these things. And that's another thing. It's like I could argue my favorite trio of superstars would have done one of two things. Either they would have made themselves look better under Frank Vogel, or they would have created a coup to get him up out of here and he'd be gone already. Either way, this trio isn't doing what I need them to do in that regard, because I would want them to fight their way through small ball. 2 weeks into the season, there should have been talks about how they weren't happy with that. Certain plays out of timeouts and certain losses we've had 2 weeks into the season, we should have seen all the passive aggressive crap that we're getting from LeBron James and the media. And that's the problem. It's like you're not mad about the right stuff. In my opinion, Bron, you should be mad about how your team looks on the floor and use their social media to make it better, not asking the team who's already given you so much to continue giving you more because you haven't made what you have work. Why haven't you made what you have work? It's a combination of reasons, but that is the answer that needs to be found before you start posing questions to the organization about how they can do more to invest in you. How can you do more to assure that their investment isn't a bad one? And that question hasn't been answered. All I keep hearing is Bron plays perfect. You can't win without him. I just watched the Bucks win a championship without LeBron. I just watched the Toronto Raptors win a championship without LeBron. So for people to tell us that we can't win a championship without LeBron, there's a whole fleet of teams that are winning championships without LeBron, especially at this age. Don't tell me that's the only way going forward to win a championship. That's freaking stupid. The man only got 3 years left in this league. So, and I'm saying that thinking that he ain't going to play much longer, but he may play 4 or 5. Who cares? Point is, he's at my age. We're ready to sit in the booth. Like, let's just be honest. Guys born in 84, we're done playing sports, basically. It's like the last of the Mohicans. So I don't have a problem with telling the truth in this camera, as I try to do every time I speak, especially about the Lakers as it pertains to what I don't like and what I think can help, and players that should be replaced. I don't have any problem telling y'all that. And of course, this video is no exception. I think the most important thing the Lakers need to do now, the very most important thing they need to do, is obviously make the changes necessary with coaching staff. But more than that, just continue to look for players like Wenyen Gabriel to fill roster spots and remove the Bazemores, remove the Avery Bradleys, remove the Carmelo Anthonys, guys who are older, who are win now guys or yesterday guys. We need to move on from them and bring more Wenyens in so that we can have that energy and that hunger. I don't care if guys suck. If they suck, replace them too. Just like you did with Isaiah Thomas. If a guy ain't giving you what you need from 10 days, you drop him and get him out of here. Bring him back with somebody else. The point is, we got 18 games to find somebody. We got 18 games to get a guy out of the G League and turn him into a second-round pick. You got 18 games to find a role player that you can cog into this next year's team seamlessly without hurting your cap. 18 games to look in that damn G League all over those teams and find the best player you can find and put him in purple and gold before another team gets an opportunity to. 18 games. What are the Lakers going to do? You're going to continue to make the same mistakes, being stagnant, not moving? Are we going to continue to come to these games, sit here in the third quarter, and then when we see what we've paid for, be angry and leave? It ain't enough, my friend. You got to make changes so that you don't see this stuff no more. And the best thing you could do for yourself, the very best thing, is switch your focus from whatever this team is about to what next season and beyond is about. Trading LeBron James may not help that. You got to go through the process of figuring out if that makes sense for you. I have my own ideas about that. I ain't always right. But what I'm telling you is this. Whether you keep him Bron or not, you have got to make the changes necessary to assure that he doesn't have what he has around him next year. What's there now can't be there. That includes everybody who's anybody. AD, I'm sorry, brother. You can net me a lot. I have already moved on from Anthony Davis. That's how real this is for me. He's already gone in my mind. He's not coming back this season if I'm running things. He won't be out there to get another injury. And I'm trading him in the offseason. Chicago or somebody who'll give me a plunder of stuff. If Bron don't like it, Bron will just have to understand that we're not doing this for him. We're doing this for us. Everything that we're willing to do for him is over with. Now it's about how bad he wants to be here for whatever it is we're going to be as the Lakers going forward. Because, see, we're the Lakers. We're the platform. Either you want to be a part of who we are or you don't. And I understand you bring championships to wherever you go. Well, I also understand you want to be here. So there's value in that if you're the Lakers. We are still the one harboring the LA market. We're still the ones that he chose to be at. We're the ones who he needs to fix if he really wants to fix his legacy. Because he's done a lot of damage to his legacy over the last 2 weeks, whether he knows it or not. I'm telling you, he has. So we're the key to him fixing that. He ain't going to fix it in 18 games. So chances are he should come back next season if he wants to complete that process. Or make better of what his Laker tenure has been thus far. You don't want it to end on this. Not on this taste, with this taste in our mouth, this Russell Westbrook contract looming. You don't want that. That'll be one of the first things people mention in your entire career, bro. I kid you not. But nevertheless, I just feel like the wise basketball decision for LeBron, well, the ultimate wise is to leave and go somewhere and win a bunch of championships. Smartest thing for him to do as a player at his age and his legacy, just easy smart, is to just team up with Jokic in Denver or something like that. Truly, team up with I don't know. I haven't thought this all the way through, but he can go anywhere and win for sure. But if he wants to fix his legacy, if he wants the Laker tenure to go right, and to remain in that MJ conversation, Kareem conversation, because he gonna fall out of that if this goes south, in my opinion, and he doesn't win elsewhere. This is the best way for him to improve his legacy from here. Make this team better. Recalibrate what it takes to get actual wins, not wins that help your stats or wins that help you angle into the best possibility for your career. I just don't think that, you know what I mean? If you're going to be on a team like the Lakers, you want to get up 30 shots. You want to be able to get 20 rebounds and crazy stats so that you keep up with the Joneses. But I just don't think that's the way to garner the type of respect that LeBron's going to be looking for as he grows older. The type of respect he's going to be looking for is coming from those who are going to say, man, Bron really gave us his all when we didn't have nothing. Just like Kobe gets, Man, Bron really stuck it out with the Lakers. Yeah, he messed it up, but he didn't run from that. You give that man his credit. He ain't run from that. That's the type of respect he's looking for. You ain't going to get that respect going to the Nets and winning the championship with KD's last 2 years. They're going to say he hits a wagon with somebody else and could never get it done by himself. That's what they're going to say. He could only win when he had Kyrie, Dwayne Wade, or whoever, Anthony Davis. That's how they're going to be. That's how they're going to speak of him. I don't think it has to go that way. I think he could ride this wave with the Lakers because he's LeBron James. And see, that's another thing. Our rebuilding process, if LeBron stays and we clean house with just him, it could be immediate. Because Bron is going to net you players who want to play with him. Now, granted, it's not the same as it used to be. But there's still going to be guys out there who would love to play with LeBron James. And the fact that he's on the Lakers ain't going to be a deterrent if we have that cap space to get his second star. I don't think he's going to have a hard time finding somebody to play with. I just don't. I know that the situation is as it is, but we're still the Lakers. There are people going to want to be here. Maybe some who didn't get a chance to be here because we made mistakes. Maybe they want to come now. I don't know. But the point is, this is how he's going to get the most respect. Sticking this thing out, turning into a pass-first player once again, and making youngsters better, man, in ways that no one else has ever done it before. And that is the ultimate victory, in my opinion, for LeBron James. If he can get a bunch of G League guys and then raise their value up to standard NBA player levels and win with them, drag them boys to the second round next season, and be the MVP of the league next year at 38 years of age, because he can obviously do it from a statistical standpoint, especially if he don't have nothing but good role players in a deep Atlanta-like team. And see, that's what I think LeBron needs, a deep Atlanta type of team. And when I say Atlanta, that means a bunch of scorers, a bunch of guys who can score from any position. No matter how many players you get off the bench, they all can play well, upside all over the place. That's what Bron needs. He needs to stop looking to play with older guys. He needs to stop looking for obstacles and find a bunch of youngsters. Be the oldest guy on the team, because you can run with youngsters as well as anybody. He needs to be on a Charlotte type of basketball club where ain't nothing but athletes around him. Guys who can catch, guys who can pass, guys that can defend a little bit, fast break entities everywhere. That's what he should be looking for. Not Westbrook, not AD, not old guys to make you feel like you could drink wine with him in the offseason. Hell no. A bunch of youngsters. Just like I tell Jeannie, you don't need what makes you comfortable. You need what's going to make you better. You know, get your friends away from you and hire some pros. Bron, get your friends away from you and hire some youngsters, some thoroughbreds, some speed runners. You should be playing with Tyrese Maxey and De'Aaron Fox. Some of the fastest players in the league is who you should be playing with. Find yourself in a situation like that, lead players as far as they can go, and you'll have a triumphant Laker tenure after all. So that's what I got, man. I know I'm all over the place, but that's how I've been feeling lately, just ranting about my team. I do believe we play again today, so I'll give you some updates whenever that is. And yeah, I've run out of time on my phone, so I thank y'all for watching BDF 44, and I'm out.